Hey y'all, Christina Ariel. Hey, what's up? I'm having a little moment. I have to go in here and find myself a dress for an occasion that I have to do. In the summertime, I did like I don't know what you call it. It's like an interview or a pilot, I guess they would call it. So whatever. I did one of those little things, a little blurb or whatever. And now I don't know why I'm being invited, but I'm invited to a get together or whatever. It's like one of those little holiday things or whatever. I'm trying to get out in the world and start living my life and experiencing things because I do want to start stepping back into that sector of things. So I'm trying to find the outfit that I can wear that I can be comfortable in. Because I like when I was younger, like in my teens and 20s, I like this part of life, like getting dressed up and going to functions and stuff like that, and going to galas or whatever those things are, fundraisers and stuff like that. I loved it, right? But now it seems that I'm trying to forget the pretentious part of it, or maybe not think of it as being pretentious because I guess that's how the world works now. But why do we have to do that part? I mean, I get it, but I don't. I mean, I get it, and I know it's necessary, but there's so many more things. I'd rather be on the other side of things, as in helping um, build things like when we were younger and we went on these crusades or these missionary trips, and you get to build cities and you get to build villages and you get to dig wells for the people of the village, and you get to do things like that. To me, that makes sense, right? Because you're doing something with a finite outcome. You understand why you're doing it, and you'll get a reward watching the people when they get fresh water, or when you dig a garden, or um, when you plant banana plants, or when you plant plants that are going to nourish the people of the village. You get almost, some things are more instant, some things not as instant, but you can see the point of it all, if I'm making sense. There's a practicality to it. So that made sense to me. Things like that make sense to me. But when you're doing things and you're trying to learn the background of fundraising, and you're trying to learn how does one get people together to help them get things done, it's different. It's so different, and it feels like back in high school, right? When you had these kids that were the popular kids, and then you had the kids that were good at sports or some kind of sports that were popular because they were good at those sports. So the popular kids liked those kids. And I guess they're the popular kids too, but it's just weird dynamics. I don't like that stuff, but like, I guess it's necessary. In school, it made no sense because it just seemed like a lot of putting people out, pushing people that have a lot of important things to say back in the background, and bringing the superficial to the foreground. I guess that's what I'm opposed to. So I guess you could say I would be a divergent. So for me, I always wanted everyone included. It's not fair. I was always told growing up, if it's not fun for everyone, it's not fun for none. So it instilled something in me in my birth chart to boot. Like, that's how I'm made up. If it's not fun for everyone involved, if we can't include everyone, why are we doing it? Now, logically, I know everyone's not going to want to be included in everything. I get that part. I get it. But I want it to be an option. You know what I mean? So I don't want to create a creation that everybody doesn't feel like they can have a hand in it. So I guess the Aquarian in me wants to figure out, how do I create my creation to allow everyone to have a part and bring out the best thing within each person, and revel in that thing that makes that person the best at what they do. Like, revel in that, like really let them know, like, you matter. We couldn't have done this without you. Like, you helped bring this thing to fruition. Like, you helped. So I guess I'm just having a moment. I really don't like the politics part of things. I prefer more the people part of things. The people part of things in making things work. Now, I need the people that I bring into my circle to keep me cognizant of how to get things done, and to show me and to teach me how, if I hypothetically wanted to build a team, how I would do it and what components I should look at. I mean, technically speaking, with being around my grandfather and my dad, I understand the mechanics of things. But I guess for me, I get the mechanics, and the mechanics are fine, and the mechanics are good. But I'm more into the emotional sides of things. I'm an elemental mystic, so I prefer to make sure everyone is getting some part of their psyche fed, or their spiritual being fed by doing any project, I would think, because that's how I work. I mean, if it doesn't feed me in some way, or I can't see how I'm helping the world as a whole, or at least the town I live in, or the community I live in as a whole, then it just doesn't feel good to me. So I guess these things, these functions, I make them more than they have to be. I always end up doing this before the function, and then after, like during the function and after the function, I realize I had more fun than I thought I would have. But man, I just don't like this part of it, the pretentious part. I'm not saying that all people with resources are pretentious, because they're not. A lot of them are not classist and egregious. A lot of them are very cool people. A lot of them I grew up with. A lot of them I know them, like we shared laughs and tears and all this stuff with, back in the day. But it's just like, I never want to lose the humanistic side of myself. I guess I'm saying that side, the emotional side of me, that side of me that loves creation and the creator, and making sure that each individual gets something out of whatever job they do. And like, for me, if I'm going to do something, it has to make sense. And I think in some ways I'm sitting here and I'm asking myself, have I been like self-sabotaging myself? And I think I have been, because there are a lot of times when I could have been involved in something really great and really grand, but I told myself it wasn't right, or it was pretentious, or it wasn't done for the right reasons. Like, I could talk so much about how we have created brothers and sisters in Haiti that make these phenomenal leather shoes and sandals. And they get peanuts on the dollar. But then the missionary groups take those shoes and sandals and they sell them in the States for lots of money compared to what they're paying them to make them and the money that they get on their return. It's not fair. And things like that I don't want to be involved in. And people say, well, you just work it until you can do better and you can change things or whatever. But y'all are not hearing me when I say, I don't know, that makes me uncomfortable. For me, the Bible says you're not supposed to use your brother or your sister. You're not supposed to participate in usury. Usury equates to I get you to make something out of a plastic bottle that would be garbage. I get you to make that thing out of a plastic bottle. I pay you 5 cents for each one of these products that you make for me. But then I turn around and I sell that product that you make for me for $50. But I only paid you 5 cents. You see what I'm saying? That's usury. That's usury. And I don't like it. And I know people say, well, it's capitalism. Shouldn't people work? If you're working and you're taking your God-given talents, and people will know what I'm talking about when I say some of these so-called third world countries like Haiti, these people are talented. And when I say talented, I mean, how in the heck did you even conceive to make something this grandiose out of something as simple as paper? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the missionary groups know what I'm talking about when I say you look at what they do and you think, how in the world? You should have some kind of platform so people can see the amount of work that goes into that talent. Like, and I could call names, but I won't start nothing. But like, just take time and look at some of these places that they feature artwork done by these third world artisans, the things that they do, and they buy their work for peanuts. They buy their work for peanuts. So I always wanted to start my own clothing brand. And I thought, why couldn't we do it via online, via electronical, like an online store, and have the artisans sell their shoes, the African artisans sell their sandals and their shoes, so they can get their own top dollar and they can request what they want to make for that. And I'm still looking into that because I know there's a way to do it. And I know there's a way to do it so that it's fair. What started this whole conversation and this whole thought is that for many, many, many years, I was just like, I don't feel good on how they paint Solomon to be in the Bible, when I know from what my grandfather taught me, he had trade with everybody in the free world. He had trade with. He had trade here in the Americas. And then a brother told me, hey, sis, this is the information on Solomon, blah, blah, blah. I don't have the phone that he sent it to me on, but he said, blah, blah, blah. They did this, this, and this. It was the Mighty Hebrew sent me this information. And I was like, you got to tell the people, they got to know, like, all this Pan-African blah, 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 and being at each other's throat, we were like this. No one was able to come in and create a wedge because everybody ate. You understand what I'm saying? So everybody knew what everybody's specialty was. Nobody was jealous. Nobody was feeling like they had to teach oh, let's go over here and teach this one how to serve God, because that's what I'm here to do. No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. And I don't understand what people don't understand. He was about teaching people how to understand, how to have the forbidden knowledge so they could make their own choices for themselves and decide how they wanted to proceed with that. So I think we should be careful on who we judge and how we judge them. We've been learning that everything that we ever thought was a lie. So if they've had the book and they've had however long to change the book, and knowing all that I know about Africa and Mount Zion and all these things that I know, that I didn't know when I started, but I had the questions of the Ark of the Covenant, and I had the questions, where is all this stuff? Show and prove to me. I need to know where it is, because if we had it and if it was that important, don't you think we would understand and know? And if it was that powerful of an artifact, they can't just stuff that in the bottom of the archive in some museum here. Are you kidding me? So, yeah, this is going to be, next year is going to be the year that we learn a lot of things, because after this month, things are going to be real different. Really, really different. Things are already changing for some people. So, yeah. It's going to be lovely. I think we undercut ourselves. We're afraid to imagine that we could be more than what we were told we were. Why we're afraid to imagine that, I do not know. But, baby, you play it small if you want. But I'm fabulous. And I'm going to be fabulous. Okay? Bye-bye now. Namaste. Y'all have a great night.